this group is Waking in Our Boots, and the title is Patterns of Seismic Activity. So a lot of earthquake topics here. All right, go ahead.
Have you seen anything like this before? Not familiar with it? Okay. So let me walk you through kind of what you're seeing here. So this is a map, and it'll show different parts of the world. But it's a map of earthquakes that have happened recently on Earth. So the different magnitudes of the earthquakes are represented by the different size circles. So smaller earthquakes are represented by smaller circles, and of course bigger ones represent the biggest ones. And then you also have them distributed by color that tells you how long ago they were. So we have some of these that were last week. So when you see yellow ones, those are last week. All these purple dots, as you can see, are last 5 years. And then if you watch this closely enough, every once in a while you'll see one from the last hour. So I don't expect you to stick around and watch this to find out when the one from the last hour was. But you'll definitely notice some really interesting patterns on this map.
Can you point to one that was maybe last week? How can you tell that was from last week?
The color.
The color. So anything that was yellow was last week.
Oh yeah, that one just happened.
There goes San Francisco.
So one really cool way, I mean, this map I think is just great for sort of visualizing, in some ways, how the Earth works. Because if you watch this enough, like I said before, you'll notice that there are patterns with it. Some things don't look like they represent patterns, but when you really sit down and stare at this map, you definitely will see patterns, especially like here. So what do you happen to notice on this map? Yeah, another one just happened.
The pattern I see is that the dots are kind of clustered together.
Yeah, I mean, exactly. They're going to be in the same areas. I mean, every once in a while there's one that doesn't seem to follow the pattern, and that's normal too, but the vast majority of earthquakes are going to be along the boundaries of tectonic plates. So when you're looking at this map and you're looking at a map of where earthquakes are, that's exactly representing the map of where the different plates on the surface of the Earth are colliding with one another, sliding past one another, going underneath one another.
That's pretty interesting. You guys want to do an activity?
Sure.
Okay, so just imagine it's a map that's not changing different locations. It's on this one here. So can we have a kid get a volunteer? Let's help me out. Okay. So let's just take a look at the map and maybe draw where you could actually see those circles on this map here. Just pretend. I was like, that map is moving on.
Yeah, North America's there.
Oh, there we go.
Okay, you guys help me. Now imagine if you're doing this with like little kids, you could get the kids to do like finger painting, so putting the dots where those earthquakes is good.
Down to Mexico.
All over Mexico.
Yep.
Oaxaca, Panama, you got it.
Oh, there's a red one.
Red one.
Oh, the red one.
Big one.
So just imagine those are the earthquakes that are happening like all the time. Is that a lot of earthquakes?
Yes.
Yeah. Do you see any pattern kind of on this map?
Kind of all along the edge.
All along the edge. Maybe we could even do like a puzzle. So we could cut out a puzzle. So if we had like a full Earth map, we could get them to do the dots and then cut out the puzzles. And did you know that those kind of puzzles are actually the plates on the Earth? So just imagine our Earth has a bunch of moving kind of plates, and those earthquakes are along those kind of plate boundaries.
It seems like an awful lot of earthquakes happen all the time.
It is a lot.
Everywhere.
I'm scared.
You don't have to be scared. It's happening all the time. And even you might notice some happening every hour. But you don't have to be scared, because what you need to do is just be prepared for an earthquake. Because it is happening. We can't predict when it is going to happen, where on the Earth it's going to happen. But being prepared makes you know that you have something to do, and you know what you're going to do when an earthquake actually happens.
And are you folks from Alaska? Yeah. Okay. So you probably felt an earthquake every once in a while. I don't feel them very often. I feel them, every few years or so. So they do happen, but I think the thing that will help alleviate your fears is, like Kristen was saying, just to be prepared. So have you thought about what you need for earthquakes to be prepared for them?
Water.
Yeah.
Okay, so
my toys with me.
My iPod.
well, think about some things that are important. So maybe stuff that you need to survive. A toy is good because if you're a little bit scared, you have something.
Maybe just one.
Maybe just one. So think about your favorite toy, your most important one.
Or a really good long book. There may not be any electricity for a while. So, pick out a classic, Moby Dick, Don Quixote, whatever, like that. Yeah, but think about the essentials that you are going to need to be comfortable for potentially several days without food, without power, and without running water either. I mean, we can all sort of survive that period of time quite comfortably if we are prepared. If you're not, then it can be quite an uncomfortable experience for everybody. But especially if you're from the Anchorage area, this area has experienced very large earthquakes in the past, and it's likely to experience large earthquakes in the future as well too. So don't be afraid. I mean, it doesn't make any sense to walk around afraid every day of earthquakes, but being prepared is probably the best thing that you can do to empower yourselves to live comfortably in earthquake country.
Afraid of us.
Yeah, okay.
Yeah, this is where we were thinking of having like a mini kit that you could just say, here are some ideas, band-aid, first aid. A little kit to just kind of show and their ideas.
And we have a lot of other great stuff at the museum here to check out. So we don't want to take all of your time today, but we'll be around if you have more questions to ask us. Anyway.